Hello, welcome back to the channel where we talk about disability, accessibility, technology, YouTube, all of those things under one umbrella. And today I'm going to tell you finally about the process of me getting these, little new hearing aids for free. As you may or may not know, for the first time in 30 years, I have hearing aids. Yep, first pair of hearing aids ever, or at least ones that are actually mine and programmed for me personally. People have been asking for years throughout my YouTube career, why don't you have hearing aids? And it's always been, never really felt like I needed them because I buy myself 99.9% of the time. And if I'm doing work things, I would have an interpreter with me or captions depending on what I'm doing. Also, there was the financial stuff. These things are expensive. Not just the hearing aids themselves, but the upkeep, always going to appointments, things like that. And it just wasn't in my favor. So I just simply never got them, and never got them as a kid, never got them until now. And if learning about deafness, accessibility, etc. is your thing, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support my work further and even help me out with the battery cost of these things, I do have a Patreon, so you can pledge to that and you get exclusive content every month, more exclusive content. I say that jokingly, but also not. So the very first thing that I did was I emailed VR or VRS, depending on whatever acronym you want to use. So the very first thing that I did is I emailed VR or VRS, whichever acronym that you want to use, and VR or VRS stands for Vocational Rehabilitation Services. And essentially what they're for is they help deaf people get jobs, hearing aids, any sort of supplies that they need for their business. They can help go to school. I'm pretty sure they help with, getting interpreters for things and stuff. I mean, they help me get interpreters for my appointments, so it just kind of came in. It just kind of came with that package, right? And if you're disabled, if you have a disability other than deafness, help you out with other things. I've heard about VR before. People have told me about VR before, but me being the anxious person that I am, I just never really emailed them. But finally, last year around April, I think it was April when this whole thing first started, I finally bit the bullet because somebody was like, just email VR, just do it, so I said, okay, fine. So what you do is you just Google VR or vocational rehabilitation services or whatever, and your city, your state is gonna pull up the local one, or at least, in your county or state or whatever, and, find a contact form, and you just put in a little something, just a little intro, hi, I'm looking for some services, wait until they email back. And that's when everything starts. So my counselor emailed me back, and essentially she was just asking me okay, well, who are you? What do you need and what do you need them for? So I was explaining, I'm looking into getting hearing aids. I've never had hearing aids before, could never afford them, although I likely would have benefited them. That's what my audiologist from when I was a kid told me. And I started to struggle a lot more within the past couple of years, since my hearing has pretty much gone down to nothing now. In the last couple of years, it's getting harder to edit my own videos, and I speak in most of them, obviously. Even though, like I said before, I do request interpreters and stuff for work. Sometimes an interpreter just isn't going to come. Either they're not being hired, or they're running late, something happened, things happen. And it's nice to have that little bit of backup, just in case. And, just for everyday things, if I'm having a meeting with taxes, or just last year when I had that car wreck, that came in handy to have hearing aids when I was returning my rental car. It's just the little things, right? Going to conferences and things like that. Yes, I get the interpreter for the panels or the workshops themselves and any meetings, not all of them, but some of them. But for the networking parties and things like that, they're not giving me an interpreter. I have to hire my own, and Lord knows I'm not paying for that. And also it's a social thing. So it's work, but it's social. Now I don't want to bring an interpreter around to interpret for a bunch of drunk people. So that's what happens at YouTube parties, I'm just saying. So having hearing aids would have been really beneficial because the music's just going to get louder. It's going to get harder to communicate or understand these people. And most of the time, I'm the only deaf person at these things. And most of the hearing people don't know sign language. So also, if there ever came a time that I was going to have another job. So, I also do public speaking. I write for a local newspaper. I do consulting for other businesses. That's going to come in handy. Having hearing aids is going to come in handy one way or another. I also work a sort of corporate job now that is actually remote, so I don't really need these. But if there was a time that it became a non-remote issue, a non-remote position, even though it's a deaf organization, so that's what they're going to be here for. And that's what I said. And they were like, all right, we can continue because that's important. You need it. That sounds it makes sense. So here we are. Then there came the background check and the finance check, you know, make sure I'm, you know, not a criminal or something. I guess, I don't know. They just needed to make sure I was who I thought I am or whatever. And the financial check, because if I make over a certain amount, they're very likely going to be like, yeah, we can't help you here because we think that you can actually afford it. They looked at my bank statements and things like that, I believe, and they were like, yeah, we're going to need to help you with that, aren't we? So once that was all looked through and approved, then came the audiogram stuff. Then you had to send me out to an audiologist and make sure that I was actually qualified to receive hearing aids. And then they had to, you know, talk with the audiologist people, figure out what kind that they were going to suggest to me and how much that was going to be, and then VR would have to approve that as well. I went to the audiologist. I had an interpreter, my amazing to-go interpreter that I'm going to miss once I move. Lo and behold, wow, am I deaf. You know that little lovely rumor that circulates every couple of months that says I'm hearing or I'm this and that or faking this and that? Yeah, let me tell you, my audiologist laughed at you. On a scientific, on a biological level, I needed those hearing aids according to my audiogram because, boy. So that was done and VR had a look at that, and then another couple of weeks go by and we got approved and we got the ear molds done. Now I think about it, I think we did the audiogram and then shortly after we went to the actual other audiologist or whoever that was in charge of ordering the hearing aids. I don't know, the actual timeline and specifics of that is a blur, but this is the process, I promise. So we got the ear molds done. That was quite the cold experience. It was kind of fun. It was a little bit fun. It felt weird, but it was fun. And as you can see, I got pink ear molds with the black hardware. So that took a couple of weeks to get that all sorted out. And you know, with COVID, supplies were running low. Supplies of all kinds, of everywhere, of all industries are running low because of COVID and things like that. So it was taking a few weeks to get those. Some people tell me that they had to wait months to get their ear molds and their hearing aids. I only had to wait about, I want to say, 3 weeks. By August, that is when I got to go to the audiologist again and actually get the hearing aids in. I got my hearing aids and did it. So the process started in April and essentially ended in August. So that's April, May, June, July, August. So that was a whole 4-month process. Shorter than I was actually expecting, going by comments from Twitter and I think YouTube maybe as well, but definitely Twitter because Deaf Twitter talks about this, you know, when it gets brought up. And ever since then, every couple of months, I have been going back to the audiologist and, you know, just doing a little check. I had my hearing aids in August, near the end of August. I want to say it was the 24th of August. And then they had me play with these, you know, test things out, train my brain for about 2 weeks, and then go back and see if I needed to readjust the levels of everything, which I did, especially in this year, because the difference is so dramatic. Like, good luck getting any sound into this one, and also good luck getting any sound into this one, but it's a better chance than this one. But you're maxing out the volume on everything and risking speakers just blowing out and breaking now at this point. So that 2-month checkup was done, and then essentially every 3 months I would come back, get the tubes changed because, you know, they start to get a little bit hard and the audio doesn't really go through. And then I had my appointment today, which would have been my last appointment before I move, but I'm doing another last minute checkup, like just in case, like right before I moved, just a couple of days before I moved. And then with this came about a year of free audiologist appointments. So I will have, I am supposed to have another couple of months left, but I'm gonna have to figure out VR in California and email them and see how we can like transfer that stuff over if we can, or if we have to continue like a whole new file thing. I'll worry about that once I get over there. And there is a bit of a warranty on these things for about a year or so. And that's essentially been the process. It was a lot easier than I expected. It was a lot faster than I expected. And, you know, it's been getting me through everyday life. I haven't done a whole lot of, like, work things. Because, again, COVID. You know, I haven't done any, like, in-person work much. This is just, like, an everyday thing now. I do use these to film. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier on my throat because now I'm not straining it. Before, I would have to strain because I have to talk so loud, so that way in post I could hear myself even a little bit without having to jack the volume all the way up and distorting that in post. Yeah, that's been it. It's definitely obvious because my interpreter would be like, yeah, you're talking very loudly all of a sudden now your hearing aids are out. Even this morning when I took my hearing aids out to give to the audiologist so she could go fix it or exchange the tubes, put new ones in, she's like, yeah, I can tell you got them out because you're like practically screaming now. I'm like, see, it is what it is. They're a little bit loosey-goose now because of the tubing. So after the first year of free audiologist appointments are done, essentially I'm pretty sure now everything is up to me. The batteries were already up to me. I did get 2 packs for free, but everything else, you know, you want batteries, you gotta go get them yourself. Go buy them at Target, go buy them at Costco or Amazon or something. But the appointments are going to be a lot more now because I do not have health insurance anymore. I had it for a year and then it just recently went out, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that. Specialist costs out of pocket are not very friendly, I should say. So that's essentially the process. I believe that is everything. I don't believe I left anything out. But if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you in a reply. I may also answer the questions on TikTok. So if you don't follow me already on TikTok, which is just my name, feel free to follow me on there and I might answer there as well because that always makes for good content. If you ended up getting hearing aids from VR or really anything else, did you get a job through VR, some other supplies for your business or whatever, let me know what your experiences were through VR or with VR, and down below somebody else has a question, you know, and you might have an answer to it. We can all help each other out in that regard, right? If you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Again, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thank you for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you later.